Have you ever found yourself staring at the scale after weeks of strict dieting and relentless workouts, only to feel like the numbers aren't budging? Maybe you've cut back on sugar, increased your cardio, and even slept more, but somehow your body refuses to cooperate. You might feel frustrated, exhausted, or even a little hopeless. And the answer might not be in your discipline or your commitment. It might be hidden in a hormone you barely think about: cortisol. Cortisol is often called the stress hormone, and for good reason. It's your body's built-in alarm system designed to help you survive. In moments of danger, cortisol spikes, your heart races, your senses sharpen, and you're ready to react. That mechanism is essential, life-saving even. But in modern life, where stress isn't about running from predators but deadlines, bills, or endless notifications, cortisol behaves differently. It lingers, subtly, invisibly, influencing your metabolism, appetite, and the very way your body stores fat. Imagine cortisol as a tiny, unseen puppet master. When it rises, it whispers to your body to hold on to energy, to conserve resources, to prepare for the challenges ahead. Unfortunately, in today's world, those challenges are rarely life-or-death scenarios. They're the late-night emails, the mounting to-do lists, the pressures that never seem to end. Yet your body doesn't know the difference, and this constant state of readiness can quietly sabotage your weight loss efforts. One of the most surprising things about cortisol is how it interacts with your fat cells. Research suggests that when cortisol is elevated for long periods, it can encourage fat storage, especially in the abdominal region. That's why some people notice that even when they're eating less and moving more, stubborn belly fat refuses to vanish. It's not just stubbornness, it's biology responding to a signal that says, "Hold on, we need reserves." But cortisol's effects don't stop at fat storage. It also plays a role in hunger and cravings. When levels remain high, it can increase appetite and drive cravings for energy-dense foods. Think sweets, refined carbs, or comfort foods. You might notice yourself reaching for chocolate after a stressful meeting or grabbing a sugary snack in the middle of the afternoon slump. That's not weakness. That's cortisol nudging your brain to seek quick energy, a mechanism that may have helped our ancestors survive famine, but today often undermines our health goals. Sleep is another hidden battlefield in this story. Cortisol follows a natural rhythm, peaking in the morning to help wake you up and tapering off in the evening to allow rest. Chronic stress can disrupt this cycle, leaving you with higher evening cortisol levels. The result? Trouble falling asleep, restless nights, and mornings where your energy feels drained before the day even begins. Poor sleep, in turn, affects hormones like insulin and leptin, making your body even more prone to storing fat and craving quick energy sources. It's a cycle that feeds on itself, subtle yet relentless. It's important to note that stress and cortisol aren't inherently bad. In short bursts, cortisol helps with focus, energy, and motivation. The problem arises when the stress becomes chronic, constant, and unrelenting. The very system that evolved to protect you can become a silent saboteur, reshaping your body in ways that feel inexplicable. Now, you might be wondering, how do you know if cortisol is a factor for you? There isn't a single telltale sign, but there are patterns worth noticing. Persistent fatigue despite adequate sleep, difficulty losing weight even with careful dieting, cravings for high sugar foods, or unexpected belly weight accumulation can all hint at elevated cortisol. Some reports even suggest mood swings, anxiety, or feelings of overwhelm could accompany this hormonal imbalance. Of course, these signs are not exclusive to cortisol, and individual experiences vary widely. Here's a twist you might not expect. Your mindset and environment play a powerful role for chronic cortisol elevation. Modern life has created a perfect storm for chronic cortisol elevation. Artificial lighting, endless screens, constant notifications, high-pressure jobs, and even our culture's obsession with productivity can subtly keep cortisol levels higher than they should be. You might not even realize it, but the cumulative effect of small daily stressors can mimic the body's fight-or-flight response. It's a reminder that weight management is not just about calories in and calories out. It's about biology, psychology, and lifestyle, intertwined in ways that science is still unraveling. One fascinating aspect of cortisol is its interaction with exercise. Physical activity is essential for health and weight control, but it's a double-edged sword when stress levels are already high. Moderate exercise can help reduce cortisol and improve metabolism, but overtraining or intense workouts without adequate recovery may further elevate cortisol, paradoxically making it harder to lose weight. The body perceives too much stress as a threat, and in response, it holds on to energy instead of burning it freely. It's not laziness, it's survival mode. Nutrition, too, can influence cortisol, though not in simple, one-size-fits-all ways. Some studies suggest that unstable blood sugar can spike cortisol, while balanced meals that include protein, healthy fats, and fiber may help stabilize it. Hydration, timing of meals, and even mindful eating practices can subtly affect hormone levels, though the research is ongoing. Again, these are not magic fixes, but small, consistent choices can collectively create an environment where your body is more likely to burn fat efficiently rather than cling to it. Here's a critical point to pause on for a moment. Cortisol does not operate in isolation. It interacts with other hormones like insulin, ghrelin, leptin, and thyroid hormones, all of which influence appetite, metabolism, and energy storage. This web of interactions helps explain why two people with similar diets and exercise routines can have very different results. It's not about blame or willpower, it's about understanding a complex, finely tuned system that is sensitive to lifestyle, stress, and even genetic factors. Midway through this journey, it's worth addressing a common misconception. Many people assume that if they just eat less and move more, the scale will inevitably drop. But science increasingly shows that when stress is chronic, cortisol can blunt the effects of traditional weight loss methods. In other words, your body's biology can resist the simple math of calories, not out of spite, but as a protective mechanism. Acknowledging this is empowering because it shifts the focus from self-criticism to strategic action. So, what does that strategy look like? Stress management becomes as essential as diet and exercise. Techniques like mindfulness, meditation, deep breathing, or yoga can help modulate cortisol levels. Even small lifestyle adjustments like consistent sleep schedules, reduced screen time before bed, spending time in nature, or building supportive social connections can lower the chronic stress your body perceives. These are not quick hacks, they're gradual, evidence-informed ways to help your body exit the constant alert mode that makes weight loss so difficult. Another angle to consider is mental reframing. Stress doesn't disappear entirely, but how you respond matters. Learning to shift perspective, embracing small wins, and reducing self-critical thoughts can ease the psychological load that feeds cortisol. Some reports suggest that even positive social interactions, laughter, or engaging in hobbies can meaningfully influence stress hormones. In this way, managing cortisol is as much about mind as body. Let's circle back to an important nuance. Not all stress is harmful. Acute stress, like a challenging workout or a looming deadline, can actually boost metabolism and focus. It's the unrelenting, invisible stress that creates a problem, like background noise your body can't escape. By recognizing this distinction, you can design your routines to harness beneficial stress while mitigating chronic stress. It's a subtle but powerful approach to aligning biology with lifestyle. If you've ever felt trapped in a cycle of effort without results, understanding cortisol can be a revelation. It explains why the scale sometimes refuses to move even when you're doing everything right. It shifts the narrative from personal failure to biological reality, a reality that you can influence with thoughtful, deliberate choices. And that, perhaps, is the most hopeful part of this story. Knowledge empowers action. Once you understand how stress hormones interact with metabolism, appetite, and fat storage, you can make adjustments that weren't apparent before. In closing, think of your body not as an adversary, but as a partner reacting to signals it receives from your environment, lifestyle, and mindset. Cortisol is neither friend nor foe, it's simply a messenger. Listening to it rather than battling it blindly opens a path to sustainable change. Whether through stress reduction, mindful movement, sleep hygiene, or dietary choices, small, consistent steps can create a profound shift over time. Before we wrap up, take a moment to reflect. Your challenges with weight might not be about willpower, but about understanding the subtle biological currents at play. By acknowledging the role of cortisol, by observing patterns without judgment, you reclaim the power to guide your body toward health rather than fight against it. It's a journey that blends science, self-awareness, and patience, one that honors the complexity of human biology while offering practical pathways forward. If this video resonated with you, if it shed light on why your efforts might not have been producing results, take a moment to engage. Hit like if you found this insight valuable. Subscribe to the channel to continue exploring how science, wellness, and lifestyle intersect in meaningful ways. And share your thoughts in the comments. What challenges have you faced with stress, weight, or hormones? Your experience could help others feel less alone in this journey. Remember, your body is listening. Every choice, every breath, every small act of self-care sends a message. By tuning in to the signals cortisol sends, you gain not just understanding, but agency, the kind that can turn frustration into insight, effort into progress, and stress into a catalyst for positive change.